The plane shuddered like a beast in labor, engines roaring defiance against the storm clouds swallowing the Midwest skyline. John's fingers dug into the armrest, knuckles whitening as if he could anchor the world itself from unraveling. "Sir, you okay? You look like you're about to puke on my lap," came a voice from the seat beside him, smooth as bourbon, laced with a smirk that cut through the turbulence like a knife. John whipped his head around, meeting eyes that burned with mischief under arched brows, a stranger's face framed by the dim cabin light, sharp cheekbones, a jaw carved from marble, and lips curled in a half-grin that promised trouble. The man, mid-30s, maybe, with ink-black hair slicked back and a leather jacket slung over his broad shoulders, leaned in closer, his knee brushing John's in the cramped aisle seat. The contact lingered, electric, as the plane dipped again, and John swore he felt the stranger's breath ghost his ear. "Breathe with me. In, out, or don't. I like the panic in your eyes." That was how it started, 30,000 feet above the heartland, where the air was thin and secrets spilled easier than peanuts from a flight attendant's cart. John Harlan, 28 and fraying at the edges like a well-worn Levi's, hadn't planned on confessions or collisions. He was en route from JFK to LAX, fleeing the ghost of a life in New York that still clung to him like cigarette smoke. A loft in Brooklyn too empty without Mark's laughter. A promotion at the ad agency that tasted like ash because he'd earned it alone. Mark. The name alone twisted in his gut like a bad cocktail. They'd been together 5 years, building dreams from coffee runs and late-night sketches, until Mark's "I need space" text 6 months back shattered it all. Space. More like a one-way ticket to some tech bros penthouse in Chelsea, or so the mutual friends whispered over brunch mimosas. John shifted in his seat, the vinyl creaking under him, trying to reclaim the inch of space the stranger had invaded. "I'm fine," he muttered, voice rough from disuse. Below, lightning forked across Ohio, illuminating patchwork fields like veins in the earth's skin. He was no stranger to storms. Internal ones, mostly. But this one felt biblical, mirroring the chaos he'd left behind. His carry-on at his feet held nothing but regrets, a dog-eared copy of On the Road, a flask of Jack half empty, and a crumpled photo of him and Mark at Coney Island, grins wide under cotton candy skies. Why he'd packed it, he couldn't say. Masochism, probably. The stranger didn't back off. If anything, he leaned in more, his cologne, a mix of sandalwood and sin, wafting over the recycled air. "Name's Alex," he said, extending a hand calloused from God knows what, fingers long and steady. "And you're lying. That grip says you're one bad drop from rewriting your will midair." His touch was warm, lingering a beat too long, thumb brushing John's knuckles in a way that sent a jolt straight to his core. John pulled back, but not before noticing the faded tattoo peeking from Alex's cuff. A compass rose, petals frayed like it had guided him through too many shipwrecks. "John," he replied, the word tasting foreign, like admitting defeat. The seatbelt sign dinged off, and passengers stirred like zombies from their in-flight stupor. A toddler wailed 2 rows back. A businessman snored with his tie askew. Normalcy, all of it, while John's world tilted on its axis. Alex's proximity was a gravity well, pulling at threads John had long buried. Gay in a city that celebrated it with parades and pride flags. Yet he'd spent the last half-year numb, swiping left on apps, nursing wounds in dive bars where the jukebox played too loud Springsteen. "Tell you what," Alex said, voice dropping to a conspiratorial rumble as the flight leveled out. "Buy me a drink when we land, hypothetically, and I'll share my foolproof turbulence trick. Involves visualization, and maybe a little distraction." His eyes locked on John's, dark pools reflecting the overhead lights, challenging, inviting. John's pulse hammered, a traitor to his resolve. Distraction? He could use one. Hell, he could use a dozen. But this man, with his easy confidence and the faint scar slicing his left eyebrow like a punctuation mark on a daredevil life, felt like the kind that could rewrite maps. The descent into LAX was a mercy, wheels kissing tarmac with a hiss that echoed John's exhaled breath. Customs blurred by in a haze of stamps and small talk, but Alex stuck like glue, matching stride through the terminal's fluorescent buzz. Jet-lagged travelers dragged roller bags. A mariachi band serenaded arrivals with trumpets that warbled like hopeful hearts. "Fate, huh?" Alex quipped, bumping John's shoulder as they hit baggage claim. or bad luck? Your call. John's duffel tumbled onto the carousel, battered and black, a twin to his mood. Fates for romantics. I'm just here for a reset. Lies, all of it. Truth was, he'd come to LA on a whim. A freelance gig designing logos for some startup in Silver Lake, but mostly to outrun the echo of Mark's voice in his head. You're too safe, John. Too vanilla. Safe. The word stung, a brand on his chest. He'd loved Mark fiercely, quietly, the way a lighthouse loves the sea, steady, unyielding. But steady wasn't enough when Mark craved tsunamis. Outside, the California night slapped him awake. Palm trees swaying under sodium lamps, the distant hum of the 405 like a beast's growl. Smog hung heavy, tasting of promise and pollution. Alex hailed a cab with a whistle that turned heads. Tanned surfers, Botoxed influencers, the city's beautiful wreckage. Share? He asked, door already open, that grin flashing like a beacon. John hesitated, the photo in his pocket burning a hole. One night, he told himself. No strings. Yeah, why not? The cab wove through gridlock, radio crooning Lana Del Rey's melancholy drawl about Born to Die glamour. Alex filled the silence with stories, a stint bartending in Vegas where he'd mixed drinks that tasted like heartbreak with a twist of lime. A cross-country motorcycle haul from Seattle that left him with road rash and revelations. His laugh was gravelly, infectious, pulling confessions from John like loose change from a couch. New York's a pressure cooker, John admitted, city lights streaking past like shooting stars. You simmer too long, you boil over. LA's a pressure washer, Alex shot back, thigh pressing against John's in the backseat crush. Blast the grime off, leaves you raw and gleaming. Or drowned. Depends on the nozzle. His hand grazed John's knee then. Accidental? Intentional? Fingers tracing lazy circles that ignited sparks John hadn't felt since Mark's last good morning kiss. Heat flushed his cheeks, traitorous, as the cab lurched onto Sunset Boulevard, neon signs winking like conspirators. The Viper Room, Chateau Marmont, ghosts of rock stars and regrets. They spilled out at a dive called the Blue Parrot, a hole in the wall where the bartender poured doubles without asking and the jukebox favored Tom Waits over Top 40. Sticky tables, peanut shells crunching underfoot, the kind of place where anonymity was currency. Alex ordered whiskies neat, clinking glasses with a toast, to unexpected turns. John's first sip burned going down, thawing the ice around his heart. They talked, God, did they talk, about exes who left scars deeper than ink. Alex's was a musician who traded him for stadium lights, about dreams deferred, John's sketches gathering dust in a drawer, about the ache of loving men in a world that still side-eyed it sometimes, even in 2025. 2 drinks in, Alex's foot hooked around John's ankle under the table, a tether in the dim. You carry it heavy, he murmured, leaning across the scarred wood, breath warm against John's temple. That weight, let me help shoulder it. John's resolve cracked like thin ice, the room spinning not from booze but from the pull of those eyes, dark and depthless as the Pacific at midnight. They stumbled out at last call, the night air thick with jasmine and exhaust. Alex's loft was a converted warehouse in Echo Park, exposed brick, vinyl records stacked like towers of Babel, a king bed rumpled under skylights where stars fought for visibility against light pollution. No pretense, no games. Clothes shed like old skins on the threshold, John's shirt buttons popping in haste, Alex's jacket pooling on the floor like spilled ink. In the tangle of sheets, it was revelation. Alex's hands mapped John's body with reverence, calloused palms skimming ribs, thumbs circling nipples until John arched like a bowstring. Kisses bruised lips, tasted of whiskey and want, tongues dueling in a language older than words. You're beautiful, Alex whispered against John's throat, voice wrecked, as he slid down, taking John in hand, then mouth, slow and deliberate, drawing gasps that echoed off the walls. John threaded fingers through Alex's hair, tugging, lost in the heat, the slick slide, the way Alex's eyes locked on his, holding him captive in vulnerability. When John flipped them, it was payback laced with tenderness, trailing bites down Alex's chest, nipping at the compass tattoo as if to redirect its north. Alex bucked, curses spilling like prayers, until John sheathed himself, their bodies joining in a rhythm that built like thunder. Sweat slick, gasping, They crested together, John first, shattering with a cry that tasted like freedom, Alex following with a groan that vibrated through bone. After, in the hush, they lay entwined, city's pulse thrumming beyond the window. John's head on Alex's chest, listening to the steady thump that mocked his own erratic beat. "This doesn't have to be just tonight," Alex murmured, fingers tracing lazy patterns on John's back. John's throat tightened, the photo in his discarded jeans a siren call. "Yeah," he lied, because hope was a crueler beast than solitude. Dawn crept in, painting the room gold, and for a moment, John believed in detours that led home. But mornings bring clarity, and clarity brought the call. John's phone buzzed on the nightstand, Mark's name flashing like a warning flare. He silenced it, but Alex stirred, eyes sharpening. "X. Ghost." John rolled away, the bed suddenly vast. Alex sat up, sheets pooling at his waist, that scar eyebrow quirking. "Ghosts don't text at 6 a.m. Want me to play bouncer?" Laughter bubbled up, unexpected, easing the knot. "Nah, he's got a key to places I haven't locked yet." They showered together, steam fogging the mirror, hands wandering in soapy exploration, less frantic now, more intimate, like lovers testing waters. Alex lathered John's hair, massaging scalp with firm thumbs, while John soaped Alex's shoulders, tracing the constellation of freckles across his blades. "Stay," Alex said simply, rinsing under the spray. "Gig's flexible. We could." "See." John's heart stuttered. "See." After one night of seismic shifts, LA sprawled outside, all sun-bleached possibility, but New York's pull was gravitational, a black hole of habit. "I fly out in 3 days." 3 days is a start. Alex's kiss was soft, sealing the pact. The days blurred into a montage of stolen bliss. Hikes in Griffith Park where coyotes howled at dusk, Alex's hand firm in John's as they crested to the Hollywood sign, its letters looming like faded promises. Coffee at Intelligentsia, black and bitter, conversations veering from Kerouac's wanderlust to the quiet terror of coming out in 90s Texas, Alex's story, laced with Bible Belt bruises. Evenings dissolved in dive bars or Alex's kitchen, where he whipped up chili that burned tongue and soul alike, John sketching logos on napkins that Alex claimed as art. On night 2, vulnerability cracked wider. Curled on the couch, Brokeback Mountain flickering on the TV, ironic, aching, John confessed the fracture. Mark's betrayal not just space, but a grinder profile John had stumbled on, faceless torso linked to a Chelsea zip. "Felt like I'd been erased," John whispered, head in Alex's lap, fingers toying with the compass ink. "Like loving him made me invisible." Alex's hand stilled, then resumed stroking hair, gentle as absolution. "Visibility's earned, not given. You're seen, John. Right here." His voice cracked on the last, and John looked up, catching the shadow in Alex's eyes, a mirror to his own. "Mine left because I wouldn't settle. Wanted the spotlight. I wanted stars we could name ourselves." They made love again, slower, mapping scars with lips and sighs. Alex on top, hips rolling in waves that built like symphonies, John's nails raking back as release washed over them, tears mingling on sweat-damp pillows. "Stay." Alex breathed post-climax, collapse into arms that felt like harbor. But harbors have storms. Day 3 dawned with rain, rare LA mercy, pattering roof like Morse code warnings. John's phone lit up again. "Mark?" Voicemail this time, slurred with regret and wry. "Miss you, babe. Made a mistake. Flying out tomorrow. Forgive?" John's stomach plummeted, the duffel half-packed on the bed a testament to flight. He didn't tell Alex. Not yet. Instead, they wandered Venice Beach, boardwalk alive with buskers and bongs, the ocean crashing judgment on the shore. Alex bought them funnel cakes dusted sugar white, feeding bites with fingers that lingered on lips. "Ever think life's too short for what-ifs?" he asked, salt air whipping hair. "All the time." John's answer hung heavy, Mark's plea echoing. That night, conflict brewed. Alex's place thrummed with friends, a ragtag crew of artists and activists, rainbow flags draped casual over amps. Karaoke night, beers flowing, when in walked him. Tyler, Alex's ex, all lean muscle and lingering spite, eyes narrowing on John like a hawk spotting prey. "Brought a stray home, huh?" Tyler sneered, voice oily, clapping Alex on the back too hard. Alex stiffened, jaw ticking. John's no stray. Watch it. The room tensed, laughter dying like a snuffed candle. Tyler, it turned out, was the musician, stadium dreams realized in indie gigs, bitterness fermented into barbs. Heard you're playing house again. Tyler pressed, gaze raking John. Careful. Alex collects hearts like vinyl, spins them till they warp. John's fists clenched, sugar turning sour in his veins. Alex shoved Tyler toward the door, words low and lethal. Out. Now. The slam reverberated, party fracturing into whispers. Alone in the kitchen, Alex sagged against counter, head in hands. Sorry. He's poison ivy. Itches long after. John bridged the gap, arms wrapping waist. We've all got weeds. But doubt seated. Was this detour or dead end? Mark's flight landed at noon. John's departed at dusk. Morning brought betrayal's blade. John slipped out for coffee, phone in hand, dialing Mark on impulse. One last talk. Closure's myth. I'm coming back, Mark vowed over static. We fix this. You and me. Heart hammering. John returned to find Alex on the fire escape, cigarette dangling, eyes red-rimmed. Saw the call log. Alex said quietly, smoke curling like accusation. Ghost got a pulse. John froze, words tangling. It's nothing. Old habit. Bullshit. Alex's voice broke, raw as exposed wire. I see you, John, flinching at shadows, packing ghosts in your bag. Thought we were building something real, but you're halfway out the door already. The fight erupted, words as shrapnel. John's defenses, you don't know me. Met Alex's plea. Then let me. Rain lashed windows, mirroring tears. I fell for you. Alex confessed, voice shattering, in one goddamn flight. Stupid, yeah? But true. John's chest caved, love's weight crushing. Me too. But Mark. He's my anchor. Drown me, but still. Alex recoiled, hurt blooming like ink in water. Anchors sink ships. Choose, John. Drift or dock. He left then, John, duffel slung, cab idling outside. Alex's silhouette in the door, compass tattoo a mocking north. LAX loomed, terminal a blur of farewells. Boarding pass in hand, John hesitated at the gate, Mark's text buzzing, landed, waiting. The plane taxied, engines whining ascent, but John's mind looped on Alex's laugh, his touch, the way he'd whispered stay like a spell. Turbulence hit over Nevada, jolting him back, same seat, different storm. He pulled the photo, Mark's grin mocking now, and tore it clean, confetti of past fluttering to the tray. Wheeling through arrivals, no Mark, just a sea of signs and strangers. Text, delayed. Tomorrow? Lie. John deleted it, heart pounding freedom's rhythm. Outside, palm fronds danced. He hailed a cab not east, but north, back to Echo Park, address memorized like scripture. Alex opened the door shirtless, eyes wary, then widening. Wrong flight. Right one. John stepped in, hands framing face, pulling into a kiss fierce as absolution. You. Us. No ghosts. Alex's arms crushed close, compass guiding true. They tumbled inside, door kicking shut on what-ifs, night reclaiming its turn, not unexpected now, but inevitable. Months later, in a loft brighter with John's sketches on walls, they stood on that fire escape, city sprawling like possibility. Alex's hand in John's, ring glinting, simple band, promise etched. To detours, Alex toasted with coffee mugs. John leaned in, lips brushing ear. And the seats that started it all. Below, LA pulsed, human, flawed, alive. Love, they learned, wasn't a flight path, but the lean into the unknown. And in that lean, they found home.